What do you tell yourself when you want to give up? When it all feels overwhelming and impossible? Here is a little compendium of encouragement for you. Warm wisdom and inspiration are presented to you one page at a time to help you survive and even thrive. It's Too Late to Quit offers spiritual guidance from the angels, therapists, coaches, and the author's 92-year-old mother who celebrated her first solo art show before going into hospice care. At a time when the future looks so dark, here are the words to light you up with self-confidence, faith, and determination to live your dreams no matter what. This book has 30 plus links to helpers who offer free tools to connecting with your potential, as well as a special chapter about Sylvia Myers Willoughby, the author's mother. It's Too Late to Quit is your companion for the days ahead. Today we celebrate the author of It's Too Late to Quit, Messages and Musings, Sheri Leigh Myers. Welcome everyone to A Divinely Ordered Life on Angel Heart Radio. I am your host, Deb Goldberg, and it brings me great pleasure to be here with you today, and it is an honor to serve you in the highest way that I can by bringing you messages of divine love. Whoa,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
that was Facebook. I am honored to serve you in the highest way that I can by bringing you messages of divine love and blessings for your life. You are dearly loved, cherished, and blessed. We have an absolutely wonderful show for you tonight. We have our guest, Sheri Leigh Myers, who is a screenwriter, producer, activist, and a podcaster keenly interested in how we can personally, culturally, politically, and spiritually transform our lives to create community based on love, truth, and equality. Sheri hosts How to Connect with Angels podcast, conducting interviews with authors, channels, religious leaders, therapists, and healers all over the world who work with the angelic realm. The podcast embodies and explores the message angels are everywhere, and they are. It is with the same intent that Sheri Leigh Myers and Sheridan Film Company has created My Angel Prayer on Alexa. And if you haven't tuned in to that, please do. This skill offers free 30-second prayers created and spoken by angel practitioners from around the world. You'll see taking less than a minute to listen can shift your entire day. There's some beautiful prayers on Alexa on My Angel Prayer. Please listen to that. Now, Sheri's first screenplay, written with Edward Kovach, Angel Lady, about a strange phenomenon on an old TV set, is now a Sheridan Film Company production set to film in El Paso in spring of 2020 with Edgar Pablos directing. Sheri and her husband, award-winning Dan Moore, will serve as lead producers. And Sheri has been working on that movie for a while now. And so I can't wait to see it. And It's Too Late to Quit is her new release. Messages and Musings. I'm so happy to have you here with me, Sheri. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Deb. Let's right away mention that one of my pages is dedicated to you because
Yes.
you are truly in service. And when so much upset, chaos, and change is happening, I have watched you stay so on the path and stay and really um on message and I'm going to say stepping up even more with help in your
Well,
message.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And I had we had a lovely tribute dinner for Sheri and her book not long ago on Enlightened World
That's
Network
great.
with Terry
Wow.
Angel and Dr. Ruth Anderson. And I mentioned that when I first wrote my books and was awakening, you were one of the first people that interviewed me. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing at the time. And it was just so wonderful meeting you and feeling that invitation and that welcome. Like, it's sort of like, welcome home, welcome to the community. And it was just a great experience for me to really know that there were people out there that do the things that you do.
The, and for me to know that there's people like you who are doing what you do, because I have found, I mean, we have this network of incredible healers and channels and intuitives and leaders and all kinds of amazing folks. And as a producer, my instinct, once I started my podcast, my instinct was not just to interview them and but also to make sure they knew each other, because I feel that now, I mean, thanks to what you're doing with Ruth and what, Terry's, everyone is, they're kind of linking arms, and making more product. I'm going to just say product, but I mean, in the nice, I just programming.
Mhm.
So in this book that I just, like, that way, this book, there are 30 some pages that have dedications at the bottom to someone who possibly works with the angels, or possibly trains soldiers how to become hydroponic farmers, or possibly does something that's really affects me. And I really, really, really want everyone who's reading to know this and to know it's available to them. So, Deb, you are one of those people, and I have now 30 people who I think are just the standard bearers that I just am so hopeful that people will take the time to say, hey, if I'm going to read this book and I am really going to take on It's Too Late to Quit, what help can I get? You know,
Mhm.
so that's the deeper work, maybe.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah. And what inspired you to just write this book? How, because it just came up, right?
Well, I'm this independent movie producer, right? So it's like there's the myth of Sisyphus. He rolls the thing up the hill and he rolls down again, and you roll it back up. Well, it's that way with making a movie, especially a little independent movie. So over the course of this 7 years, I have had to really rely on my Buddhist teachings and the things that I remember from my therapy, and things that I have had learned in conversations. And then within the last 4 years are things that occurred to me after I was in meditation. Okay, so all along the way of producing this film, I've had this habit, or this kind of nice thing, of journaling from time to time, especially when I'm in complete despair. And it's because there are just so many unforeseen forces and things that are happening when you're really going at something. as you know. And when you really go, there's a lot of obstacles. And it is so easy to quit. It is so easy to say, not meant to be. And all along, there's been some major, major things in the course of making this film that we've gone, well, anybody would go, hey, you know, cut your losses, enjoy your life, you know, stop worrying. And I can't quit. It's too late to quit. And the angels have, fortunately, through my interviews with people like you, I mean, your commitment, your experience, your presence moved me. That's why I called you and I want to interview you. It's like, wow, this woman is authentic. And I wanted to know what an authentic experience with the divine was like. So along these 3 years that I've started the podcast, and I started the podcast because of the film, and because of the film is about a glitch on a TV that may or may not be an angel, right? So I did this podcast about interviewing people who work with angels to find the people who love angels, who may want to see our film. But along the way, it's kind of like this movement. It's not a movie anymore. It's a movement. Now it's a movement in my life. My movement in my life is to really partner with the divine more. Almost probably to a huge degree more than ever in my life. And having trust in that. And these messages that I wrote down, I have like all these notebooks. And it got to like last fall, and it was like, okay, we're looking at our production schedule, and we're looking at, yeah, we're gonna probably not, we'll have the money, we'll probably won't be able to schedule till end of summer, beginning of this fall. And I guess I have time to make this book. And I started going through all my little notebooks, and I go, oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. And then I typed them all up, and I arranged them. And then I gave all the pages. By that time, I do want to say, by the time I was ready to put the book together, and we were going to launch on Mother's Day, I was in New Hampshire. It was March. My mother had fallen. I flew up right away. She recovered from the fall. I took her to see her lung doctor because she has pulmonary fibrosis, which means your lungs scar up. And I took her to the specialist, and he said, I think it's time for hospice. My mother said, okay. And I was, okay. So I was there for a good month, just settling her in, working with the hospice. Fortunately, during that time, I was able to get in and out of her assisted living, and then the curtain came down, understandably. I couldn't get in to see her. And I was stranded kind of at New Hampshire by the lake, which was not a bad strand, but I was still stranded. My husband is in New Orleans. And then I got a call. My husband was in the hospital. So I had to fly back. So I did. I flew back with the mask and with the gloves and with the spray, and it was very stressful, but there were very few people on the flight. And all through that time, It's Too Late to Quit was the book we were putting together. While I was tending my mom, Dan, my husband, was putting the book together. First page to the last page, he was putting the narrative together. I didn't realize it, but it does start with, it's a marathon. Think of it as a marathon. And then this process that he found, which was amazing, because I really thought, well, just let him read it a page at a time. But now, I mean, Dan's been in and out of the hospital twice. He's okay. Big changes for his lifestyle and all this other kind of things that have to happen. And we got to launch the book. And of course, you always have these ideas of how it's going to launch, but it's really going fine. Thank you, because I have people like you who are willing to put me on a show and let me talk about it. And let's tell people what the book is about, and ask them to take a look, because I have been so deeply moved by the reaction to the book.
Yeah. What a story, what a journey.
Yeah.
Just even, you talking about the movie and how that's been a journey, and your whole life's a journey, and then there's this journey of the past few months.
Yes, 3 months, right. Yeah.
Right.
Right. Now we know the angels, I mean, when it's time to step up, and especially if it's a divine mission, the angels will help you make it happen. Trust that. Even when you have horrible obstacles that you think, that you can't come in from out of the blue, it's like, and I have to say, from someone who thought she was just didn't need to rely on anything, I do a lot of praying.
Mm-hmm. That's
Which is
awesome.
kind of the big message of the book. I think one of the big messages of the book is like, don't be too proud to pray.
Uh-huh.
Don't be too proud to pray. You think you got this all worked out, or you're going to work it out here. You're not going to work it out there.
You're so right.
Yeah.
So right. And what an inspiration of, even describing what you went through, and you still put your book out.
Yeah.
It still needed to come out.
Had to. And Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Because my mom, who's still with us, even though she's on lockdown, she and I got to do an interview on Mother's Day. And it was absolutely delightful. And I got to show her the pages in the book that I had dedicated to her, because my mother, at the tender age of 92, my mother had her first solo art show.
It's so fantastic.
I know it's it's really given her a new lease on life. I'm honest to God. I mean, she was moving into assisted living last year. She hated it. Of course, she's been independent. She's a New Englander. She doesn't, she's gonna tough it out. She's gonna, but she had to, because of her illness, and she had to have more care. But we discovered this treasure trove of paintings that nobody had seen. 50 plus watercolors that when I they moved them out of her walk-in closet in Ocala, Florida, put them in the truck, and I took them up to New Hampshire. And in New Hampshire, we're moving her into assisted living. And she mentioned to my husband that she had a bucket list, and on her bucket list was to have a solo art show.
Mm.
And me being, well, a number of things. First of all, I am a producer. When I hear a good idea, it's like, don't hold me back here. I know how to do this. So we did. We put it together in like a couple months. Had things framed. Family who had her art took photos on the wall or down, and they sent me the JPEGs. We made a book. We made cards. She had a show at her assisted living facility. She had a proper art show with her pieces, about 30 pieces on the wall, about 30 plus pieces that were matted, bunches of cards, all of this and a book. Mm-hmm. And so I have a chapter about her in the book, because I want people to understand, you may be approaching a certain age and you may be thinking, what's next? Mm-hmm. And I mean, a lot of us are thinking, what's next? But I want you to know, life can be long. Mm-hmm. And life can be wonderfully rewarding.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that you're never too old.
You're never too old.
For your purpose to come to fruition.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it was meant to be, that this was her purpose, to share her art. And little did you know that you were supposed to be part of that, to create an exhibition for her.
That's right. I mean, I have always made it my business. My dad was a coach. I mean, he was a soccer and lacrosse coach. He also taught at university at Ohio Wesleyan, but his passion was coaching. So I grew up with someone who had a capacity for encouraging people and saying the right thing and believing in them and bringing them to their potential. My father took a non-existent program. He got the soccer program started because he had seen a soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time he passed away, it was a nationally ranked NCAA triple three. It took, third level.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've been champs since, So my dad built that program. And also his lacrosse program is nationally ranked. And his players remember, because I mean, we all have our different, what's our channel? What's our, how do we move people? How do we reach people? And he reached people through coaching them in sports. But the sports was just, it's here too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he would say important things to them, like a guy who's a freshman and he's going to be made manager of the team, of the soccer team. And he's got to make sure the soccer ball is there and, all that kind of small stuff, but big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, coach, I don't know, I don't know, I'm going to do this." I said, and my father said, "Woody, start thinking like a senior." So there's these bon mots, that they stuck with them and actually changed their lives. And I got to have the privilege of having that, of course, from my father, who passed away when I was 21. So he's been gone a long time. But his legacy of the programs and the excellence and the tone, and the lives that he changed, so the words we give people at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
that they are open to it,
Mm-hmm.
are so important. I mean, because you are a healer.
Mm-hmm.
People come to you, they open to you, they trust you. So all through this journey of these ups and downs, I mean, these ups and downs with the movie, and these ups and downs with, the podcasting has been an absolute blast. I mean, my God, it's just it's just so great. Still, there's life. So there's been a lot of ups and downs, because I never imagined it would take this long to make a movie. But still, it's too late to quit. And what does that mean when you say that?
Yeah. What does that mean when you say that? I think that's a great conversation. What does it mean? And I know, just even in my own experience, since I've woken up, I don't know how many times I've had the thought, well, maybe this wasn't meant to be, or maybe I should be doing something else instead, or maybe I shouldn't be following that path, or how I'm doing it isn't right, or
Yeah.
whatever the case might be. Is just there's always this energetic pull to keep bringing you back out of pursuing your purpose, your divine calling.
There is, and it will not leave. But the beauty of knowing that there are tools and there are people to reach for is that I really believe now that we have, of course, a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of stuff that gets dumped on our hearts, so that our hearts can hardly shine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly have been in therapy, and certainly that helped, but I also really feel and know and have experienced people who work with the angels, who bring in the divine, consciously working and healing with divine energy, can heal.
Mm-hmm.
They can lift Right, Deb? Right?
Totally.
I agree.
Totally.
Yeah.
That love is the only healer.
There you
The
go. There you go.
divine love is the only thing that heals.
Yes. And so, if you have been suffering throughout your life that you were never loved unconditionally, and somehow that got,
Yay.
thank you.
Yay.
Hello.
Been there, done that.
Mhm. Are you a mom, by the way, Deb?
Oh, yes.
Yes. And aren't you like one of the best moms on earth? I'll bet you
Yeah.
are. I'll bet you are.
I've gone through my trials with that, but yes, I've grown so much. This it is such an important topic because all of those things that you're talking about is what holds us back. It's
Yeah.
those hurt voices, those
Yes.
wounds that
Yes.
keep saying, no, 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 don't go out there, don't shine,
No.
don't, somebody's gonna hurt you. It's all this protection
Yeah.
of like you can't have what other people have.
Right. You can't. You can't. You have to. And also, mm, well, I think you said it perfectly. I think you said it perfectly. Though, and that hurt, and abandonment. I mean, there's so many words to put onto it. The trauma.
Mhm.
Look, who doesn't have it to some degree, but it is unconditional love that heals. It's unconditional love and relationships that heal. And I am going to just venture out here and say that my sisterhood and brotherhood of people who work with the angels and bring the angels and offer the angels, offer the connections, I have been able to be in this big family of people who are unconditionally there for me.
Mhm.
And yet, right, Deb, and you feel the
Mhm.
same way. And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, I am so fortunate. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I showed up. I showed up and I said, I want to be part of this. And it's like, you are part of this.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's also what the book is about, is like, y'all, it's you're already included. It's okay,
Mhm.
those things that hold you back, that crying in the wilderness, the abandonment, all of that is like, honestly, there is hope. There's actually a process that's unfolding for you that you can let go.
Mhm.
And not always it's going to come up and it's all but the possibilities are that you can actually really move with your life in a dynamic way that you never dreamt possible.
Mhm.
Right?
Oh yeah. You're
Mhm.
constantly being guided.
Yeah.
You're always being guided. And sometimes it doesn't feel like you're being guided, but you are. It never stops
Hmm.
because of oneness.
Hmm.
And what you're doing is, like you said, it's so beautiful that you're already involved in the circle. You're already, I call it God's tribe. You're already part of God's tribe. We're all one. It's all kindred spirit. It's and when you find other people that are open to love, it's an amazing experience. And I think that's part of what your book does is it's opening to love all the time, is opening to know that there's more so that you don't quit.
Yes, because when we can't support ourselves and we have no one offering support in our immediate visceral circle, which happens a lot, trust me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you know that. We all know
Mhm.
that. There is the support of your guides and angels
Mhm.
who are like, it's okay. We're here. We're
Mhm.
here. We're here. We love you. And I really want people to have the experience of feeling unconditionally loved. Sit at the table, babe. I'm right
Mhm.
here behind you. Here's your angels. you know, what do you need?
Yeah, the support is is unbelievable. The
Yeah.
loving support, the divine love that will send whatever it is that you relate to as as divine love in
Mm,
any imagery that you want,
mm,
that to just be embraced by, in whether you have angels, but it doesn't matter. People have an animal spirit,
mm.
God, Jesus, Buddha, whatever way creates a place for you to land softly into the arms of love.
Beautiful.
And it is amazing, and that's what your book is doing. It's support, 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 support. I would really love you to read
Oh,
of your
oh
page.
gosh. Okay.
Do you have it
Wow.
handy?
Well, how about you do tap dance? I'll go grab the book.
Okay, okay, do that.
You tap. I'll be right back.
Oh, Sheri has been involved in bringing Lightworker community together for a long time. And the amount of experience that she's had, just her own experience, not just um, putting her movie together and her podcast. She's just had so many experiences, and it's chocked with so much wisdom that it's just beautiful. And the way that it comes through, that you can just, it's almost like a calendar. Like one day, you each day you just read another one of her pages.
Great idea. Yes. I would say when you get the book, if you can, take an hour and read it all the way through.
Mm-hmm,
Because that is an experience in
mm-hmm,
itself. It just takes you on a journey.
mm-hmm,
And then when you leave it by your bedside and you wake up in the morning, you go to bed at night, like, whoa,
mm-hmm,
okay. So I am going to open up to a page that I love,
mm-hmm.
that I just kind of happened onto, because this thing kind of occurred to me while I was up in New Hampshire, putting the book together. This is a page I just added at the last minute while this COVID was raging. And my mom was, I couldn't see my mom. Okay, it says, please note, if you ask for help, it doesn't mean you're helpless. Only if you do not ask for help are you helpless. This little bit of wordplay is meant to reassure you that asking for help is not a sign of weakness. When you ask for help, you are moving out of victimhood.
Absolutely beautiful.
Had not occurred to me before I wrote it down, but then I wrote it down and I went, oh, yeah. Because it's our ego, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And really being able to ask for help. And then if you ask for help, help will be there. And we're terrified that it won't. Okay, so you can ask for help and ask the angels for help. And then trust that it's the Eskimo, it's the guy in the boat coming, whatever it is. Open your heart and open up your vision to whatever that help might be, right?
So
Okay.
important. So
Yeah.
important because, I could say, for so many years I was so stubborn.
Yeah.
And I didn't trust people. I didn't trust people to have really helped me because
Yeah.
of my upbringing. And so I felt like I was shouldering everything by myself.
Yeah.
And then to realize that, and it was a hard habit to break,
Yeah.
very hard habit to break. But when you realize that you're never alone, and asking brings relief, asking brings peace, asking brings wisdom,
Connection.
connection. Yes.
Asking brings possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Asking for help will bring change. Most important to understand is that I just really want people to imagine, okay, you're in a tough situation and you don't ask for help, okay, that means you are technically helpless. You are without help. When you ask for help, you are no longer helpless, because help will come. Keep asking, keep looking, keep asking, and keep trusting. And remember that it's being it, and it's kind of a funny thing that we do to ourselves, is because out of some, you know, some quirk, when we don't ask for help and we figure, oh God, I can't, you know, I'm really in this, and this really, that's victimhood. Hello. And I guess another point about this book that has to do with now and the time that we're in, it is really too late. It's too late to quit on ourselves, but there's so much we have to accomplish. There's so much to undertake in this time if we really want to have a planet. So what are we going to do? And part of that is bring yourself to your healing, and then bring yourself to your work. And don't wait until I feel so much better about myself. Those days are gone. I'm sorry. We don't have time for people to be, I'm saying this to myself too. Part of what we're talking about is like, you're going to wake up feeling bad. Okay. I'm sorry. It feels bad. Don't quit. You can't quit. You know, quit. And don't quit reaching for feeling better. Don't quit reaching for your connection, or and also there are some very specific things. Here's one. We never allow excuses to stop us from moving our mission forward. Do we?
Oh yeah,
we do.
We allow that.
We allow that. Here's the thing. One of the things about oh yeah, this is a cute one. I am going to mention
they're all great. They're all great.
Thank you. I get a kick out of that because I was a practicing Buddhist, and I'm you know, in my heart, Buddhism is an incredible practice, and I chanted for about 25 years. And so I like to talk about my early days with my Buddhist mentors, because I was a real pain in the ass. I really was someone like, you know, it's such a crutch. It's such a crutch. I mean, it's good for you. I'm so happy. It makes you happy. But it's like, but I kept going to meetings, you know, it's like one of those kind of alcoholics who's like, oh yeah, I'm not really here. But I did, once in a while, I would talk to my Buddhist mentors because I would be stuck. And for about 7 years, I was a single mom. And I was a single mom with a little one. And I had no money. And I did have this job. And my job was selling sandwiches in these high rises off Sunset at entertainment offices. I mean, there I was. I've been an actress, and now I was a struggling writer, and I'm selling sandwiches from office to office, getting up at 5 in the morning to get bagels and put cream cheese on them and get my girl to daycare, and then get off to, you know, to running around pulling a cooler between. And, you know, for someone with a lot of pride, it was very much a lesson, you know, stuff. So here's what I wrote. I complained to my Buddhist mentor that I was too tired from selling sandwiches, dragging a cooler from office to office, and taking care of my little girl to meet with my writing partner and write. He said, write no matter what. If your life is going to change, your life needs to see how badly you want this. And so Angel Lady, my movie, was written in 1990. And that is dedicated to my Buddhist mentor, Richard Kesselman, who had the grace to, you know, to say that.
To inspire you.
To inspire me. Because I did exactly what he advised me to do. Because, you know, it's like, wait a minute, do I want to quit? No, I don't want to quit. But how am I going to keep going? Oh, he gave me the way to structure this
Mm-hmm.
so I could keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sort of like giving you permission to keep following your heart's passion.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, part of it was, I mean, these little ladies, these little Japanese ladies, I was at one point I was directing a play. It was a wonderful play, actually, one person show about Marilyn Monroe, and we were wanting to take it to Europe. We were already had been in South Africa. We wanted to go to Europe, and we said to this little Japanese lady, we said, "Well, what are we going to do? We've been chanting and it hasn't happened yet. We've been praying, we haven't yet, hasn't happened." And she said, "Get some guts." Get some guts. Keep chanting. And it was like, so there's that piece of it is also what Richard was talking about, is like,
Mm-hmm.
if you really want this, you've got to be tougher than that. You've got to actually not give in to your fatigue and your whatever you want to say, it, but your self-pity, whatever you want to say, you cannot give in to that. So we have those are these moments that we have probably every day when it comes to doing the things we really want to do for the thing we really care about. There is that moment of, oh. But that is that to be able to turn that and realize your life needs to see your determination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's desire. And we all have different levels of desire.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. And um and if you have a heart's passion, well, we all know that just going through life, we're always making excuses of why we can't do something, especially when it comes to taking care of us, especially women. Um, that we were so busy taking care of everybody else. And so, putting off going to the gym or whatever else you wanted in your life that you just couldn't find time for. Even friendships, because maybe you were too busy working or with kids or something
Sure.
like that.
Of
And so
course.
we've always had these things, barriers,
Yeah.
and they're there on purpose. Actually, they're part of the experience of our being human.
Mm-hmm.
These, I call them energies that just keep, this old energy, it just keeps pulling you away back into the earth realm and away from your passion and what really makes your heart sing. And so it is important to try to keep stepping up to the table, because you're stepping up to your own life and you don't realize the impact that your life has on everybody else. Like, if you didn't happen, you know what how you think about how many people that would affect if you did not bring your passion to the world.
Yep.
And not everybody brings it to the world in the sense, in a big way. It could
Right.
even be in your family, in your work, whatever you're doing. It's really standing up for your passion
Yeah.
and bringing it all forward with you and doing it and making time for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a page in the book that says, if you say it's your priority to do this thing and you don't do it,
Mm-hmm.
just be honest. I mean, you're lying to yourself, and you know, you're not doing it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not your priority. So we have made exactly what you were talking about. I mean, we've always made other people our priority. Always, always. Is that person okay? I'm a kids and everybody all taken care of before we stepped up with our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what happens,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay. But it's definitely if you have something else to do now, or if you feel there's something else for you to do now, and you want to bring yourself out or in or whatever to bring it forward, now is the time. Now is the time. All of us have to stay in. I mean, you have to be with yourself more,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you got yourself to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You've got yourself there. you know, what is that 1 hour a day going to look like, you know? And there's one other page, and I want to talk about it because it has to do with marathons. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so okay. I wanted to run marathons because I wanted to go to Hawaii. Okay. I didn't care about getting in shape. I just wanted to go to Hawaii. And if you run 26.2 miles, they send you to Hawaii because that's where the marathon is, right? And so I'm raising money for AIDS LA, and they're going to send me to Honolulu, which was like, okay. So that's how I got into running. I'm athletic, but I hadn't been running 26 miles, well, a lot of miles. And so this is something that I learned. I learned so much from running. So, and in fact, there's another page in the book that says, if the dream is not impossible, then the prayer is not correct. Okay. So this actually, it feels pretty impossible when you haven't been running much. It feels pretty impossible to be running 26.2 miles and get there in a day. I mean, like, not to have to stop overnight somewhere. Okay, I'm gonna nap. So I realized that I was gonna, there's so much that you have to really, fortunately I had training, and that's what I wanted to pass on here. Coaching tip: if it's a marathon, which everything is right now, whether you reach your 26.2 is up to your raw determination to get there. However, as it is a marathon, not a sprint, you can avoid injuring yourself and wearing yourself out if you see all this as step by step, building it up, becoming stronger and a little more invincible every single day. Head and heart and body becoming aligned to your goal. Every day, just lace up your shoes and patiently proceed.
So awesome. So it's the truth. It is, you're speaking truth, and speaking truth is healing.
Yeah, if we can get there. And the beauty of knowing about marathons now and understanding that is that, there's a lot of physical pain and discomfort involved. But I got to go to Hawaii. And I got to go snorkeling, and you get to actually learn how strong you are. So that's where, when we pick an impossible goal, maybe it's not impossible. If you do get the book, I mean, that will help, because there's some advice in there to help. It's kind of, in a way, structure this impossible goal, because if it's 26.2, you're going to have to work back and go, oh, okay, if I'm going to run 26.2 on this date, I'm going to have to run 22 here, 17 here, 10 here, 5 here, 4 here, 3. You're going to have to hit those marks, and you're going to have to make a commitment to hit those marks. That's what I mean. If you skip over, you're going to injure yourself.
So true. It is a marathon, and it is step by step.
Yeah.
And I believe that, all of us come in with a passion already placed in our heart, that it is put there at the get-go. And so it is about unearthing it as we go along and as we start to feel it, and that you are having help all the way, like you're saying in your book too, is that we have help all the way running this marathon, and you can't burn yourself out. You need to pace yourself, but it doesn't mean that you stop. And if you do take a hiatus, it is getting right back on to work towards your purpose again, your calling, your passion. Because how many people have had these burning desires and passions, and they never followed them because they were afraid, or they felt that they just couldn't do it. They didn't have the support that they needed. Yeah. And when
I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't. That's why they couldn't, because they don't. There's something in our culture. That's why it's so brilliant to be involved with so many wonderful angel communicators in our network and the people who have links in the book is that there is support. There is support for you being you and you being happy and you being joyous and successful and all that. There is support. And you may have to go outside of your comfort zone, and you may have to go outside of your little circle of people you know. I mean, obviously anybody watching this is already on that adventure. But speaking to what you said in terms of like maybe you were scared and all this time, you just wouldn't let yourself go for it. But I want to validate people, and there's that page in the book about that, which has to do with the fact that
and it's great that you're reading these because people really are getting an idea of what is in this book and how worth it is to get it and be inspired every single day.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm not going to find the page right now, and I should. Next interviews, I'll have it more together. But it's that the idea is this: you have a dream, and you may have had this dream for a very long time, or this impulse, or this fire, and it's like, all right, now it's like a match, or maybe you don't even know if you have a match anymore, but you do, and that's your light, and that's your faith, and you just start fanning that. But the page in the book has to do with the fact that every second that you commit to your dream, and every second you have not been committed to your dream, but you have had your dream. You've always had the dream, but you've been in resistance to doing it. You've had the dream. No, not yet, no, not ready, not good enough. But it's been there. So don't discount that. Don't say, oh, I screwed up. Oh, I was terrible. Oh, I did the wrong. Forget it. You had the dream. You resisted it. You resisted taking action. Now you're not gonna do that now. You're just not gonna do that now. Okay? That's the difference.
It's too late to quit.
Does that make it too simple? I hope it doesn't. I just want to relieve people of this horrible guilt.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Shame, or, stuff like, oh my God, I could have, would have, should have. God, it's just that it's bullshit. I mean, it's bullshit we tell ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other people can tell it to us, but if we hear it and we tell it and we give ourselves that, I'm sorry, but it's only you who can not listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's only you. I mean, we can ask our friends and we can be dependent on our therapist and all kinds of things, but you got to figure out what are you going to tell yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once you start pursuing your passion, it's sort of like things just start to open up.
They do.
Because you've set it in motion.
You did.
You set it in motion and the gates just start to open and things just unfold. And it keeps giving you some more oomph to keep going ahead.
Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm. It does. And so if you want to talk about the universe is pushing you, all divine love is pushing you. Okay, yes, take another baby step. Mm-hmm. Take another baby step and watch what happens. Mm-hmm. And if you get scared and you start running back the other way, it's okay. Just take another baby step forward. It's really interesting when you understand that you have all of this illusionary energetic stuff coming at you all the time, pushing you back. And when you realize that's all that it is just the energy of fear wrapped up in all kinds of voices. Wow. And it's telling you can't do it and making excuses why you can't do it. When you realize that that's not you, that's not real.
No, it's not real.
It's not real.
No, what's real is here. Mm-hmm. What's real is right now. It's empowering, great quote from Patricia Zerman, someone I interviewed lately. She said, thoughts are ghosts. We give them power.
Mm-hmm.
but there's still ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I just, where are you going to be there? You have to be there for yourself. But this is what I want to say about that, because I find that I really get off on encouraging people. And that helps me because I'm telling them things I need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone is watching this and you're going, oh, I'm not getting any encouragement from people, or I don't feel encouraged, it's like, let me just ask you, are you encouraging anyone else? Are you taking the time? Are you taking the time to ask how someone is and what are they working on and how can you help? Or do you want, just think about that, because actions have consequences. It's cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. If you sit there going, no one's helping me, no one's supporting me, well, you know, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to encourage someone? And if
Mm-hmm.
we need to encourage each other, of course we do. You know, maybe people can have a book club. It's too late to quit book club and go like, just what's your dream? What's your dream? Okay, page 34. I just want people to be going for it. I want people who are retired, you know, people who are facing retirement, or people who have given up a whole career because of the virus. And it's like, what am I going to do now? It's don't panic. Please, you may have already panicked. So, you know, try something else. Try putting a plan together and trying going for that. Of course, work with your angels. Of course, work with these people. Please work with these people. Access these links at the end of the book and avail yourself of this rainbow of work and of heart and meditations and workshops and your show. My goodness, if we could do that. I mean, there's so much terrible programming on TV. And we are offering alternate programming.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yes.
are, you know. Yeah.
Well, you are so empowering. And I hope anybody listening to this that has been sitting on something and not feeling that they can go ahead or go for it, um, we're they're empowered now. They know it's time to go after what it is. And if they don't know, how can people get in touch with you so that you can give them some more coaching?
Oh, it's so interesting. Someone contacted me lately and said, can I, would you be a consultant? Can I, I thought, consult about what? I said, I did, well, your book. And I went, oh, it had actually occurred to me. Well, I mean, it's too late to quit. Get the book, read the book, review the book. If you review the book and I see your name, send me an email with your book review. And honestly, as a gift, I will give you half an hour of chat. I'd be happy to. It means a lot. It helps me. I really need book reviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so thrilled to be able to listen to someone for, like half an hour and go, well, okay, this is what maybe this is what I can offer you. But I'm always going to hand you back to yourself and hand you over to people who work with angels and, because I'm, So, okay. It's Too Late to Quit is on Amazon. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an ebook or it's in print?
Mm-hmm.
Can get it there. It's Too Late to Quit, Messages and Musings. How to Connect with Angels is on Facebook. Just join the Facebook group. It's so great. We have programming almost all day, thanks to Ruth, to what you're doing and what you're doing with, Anaya and Ruth. Everybody's got these shows that are just beautiful. And How to Connect with Angels was my dream, to be a channel like an angel channel, and it is. It's an angel channel for work. With
Mhm.
and it's just wonderful to join that group. Listen to the podcast. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. My Angel Prayer is on Alexa, and you can go to myangelprayer.com, and you can just you'll learn how to like download it on your phone. If you don't want to get Alexa, you can have it for free. You can listen to 30, or you can go for the $3 a month, and you can have 100 plus beautiful prayers that will connect you within a minute with your, issue and your prayer. I guess that's it.
Yeah. Well, such beautiful, beautiful leadership and what you bring to the world too.
Oh,
You're
thank
always
you.
doing something that's encouraging and sharing love. So I'm so grateful to have you here today,
Thank you.
Sheri. And your message is important: is to stay in the game. It's too late
Yeah.
to quit. Stay in the game or get in the game if you haven't got in it. And and
Yeah.
we're so happy to have you here. And please check out Sheri's new book on Amazon. It's off. It's awesome, and you will have to read it in a day. It's that you can't not. It's just it is what it is. You read the whole thing at one sitting. So enjoy it.
Oh, Deb, thank you so much.
You are. It is my
So
it's
touched.
a pleasure.
So
It has
touched.
just been
Thank
a
you
pleasure.
so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Aw. Well, when in doubt, never underestimate the power of prayer. You are being listened to and heard throughout the universe, and it always responds with infinite and eternal love. Remember to go inside and listen through your heart for the whispers of heaven. I love you, and God bless you. Bye bye.